Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, CNBC News, and NBC Sports, KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Audible, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Spotify, Podchaser, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So this show has no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words. No Kardashian talk, especially no formerly known as Kanye talk. None of that, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests and repeat guests to that. And you know her face, beautiful, powerful, inside and out, my friend. And I'm so honored that she's back in my studio. Please welcome back, knockout interview number 2, Laila Ali. Welcome back. I'm going to give you the formal, all the accolades and all of that. But I wanted you to just be known. And I know there's a lot of people who are going to be tuning in to. I know they want to ask questions, but I get to ask questions first because this is my show. But how the fork are you? A post-pandemic. I haven't talked to you.
I know.
We've texted, but I haven't talked to you formally. How are things going?
Everything's going well. The family's happy and healthy. So that's my main concern. So when they're happy, I'm happy, right?
Yep, absolutely. And you are doing everything as usual. Let me just read the formal part of this, just in case you don't know who this beautiful woman is. Laila Ali is a former boxing champion who is undefeated in the ring with a record of 24-0, 21 knockouts. And I have to be honest, the first time you were on, I had not watched any of the knockout clips, but this time I thought, what the, I'm going to watch. I'm like, holy craftsmanship. That is unbelievable. You hit hard. And it was beautiful that you were recently inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame beside your father, Muhammad Ali. Laila is not only a TV personality, author, and speaker, but she's also an advocate for healthy living. She created the Laila Ali Lifestyle, which is all about encouraging others to be the greatest version of themselves through their health, mindset, and purpose in life. And that's why she's on my show. Laila shares her delicious, comforting recipes through her cookbook, Food for Life. I have it. And has a line of delicious, organic, non-GMO spice blends that help make cooking healthy. And if you want to be entertained with her in the kitchen, just tune into her Instagram, where she is a cooking fool just about every day. She also has a line of nutrition supplements called YouPlenish. Her popular 14-day cleanse is amazing. And your Asian Oprah giveaway is a package of spice blends, woohoo, and an amazing sale price. I'm going to take credit for that as an Asian Oprah giveaway of her 14-day cleanse. You can see so much more on LailaAli.com. Welcome with your formal introduction, Laila. All right.
That was wonderful.
Now that we got that out of the way, and last time, just to carry on, those of you who missed her first interview, I didn't get to explore one of the things you said, that boxing was actually your, like, it had nothing to do, or less to do with the person you were boxing, but getting out some internal anger and internal, like, you were just mad. And so someone had asked, what could you have been so mad about? Because you're the daughter of the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, all of that. What was that? And the reason why I'm asking you is because there's a lot of people that are mad right now. And
let's put it into context, though.
Yes.
So obviously boxing is in my blood, right? So you don't just say, I'm mad, I'm just going to become a boxer, right? I think that when you take everything into consideration, because a lot of people were just judging a book by its cover. You're so pretty, why do you want to box? And I was saying, I had a lot of anger inside. I had a lot of things in me that allowed me to be able to be a fighter, to be able to create that rage that you need to go into war and actually fight a person. There's a certain mindset that comes with a fighter to fight for a living. So then we can kind of dissect that. But it's not that you simply can just be mad and become an undefeated world champion. It's not that simple. But I think that we all have our story and our background and all of the things that happen in our life that allowed us to become the person that we are. And growing up, there was a lot of dysfunction in my childhood. My father was traveling the world, saving the world, which obviously means he wasn't home. That's not a complaint. That's just a fact. My mom got remarried, got into some bad relationships. And, when a parent is unhappy, then a lot of times your children will be unhappy. So I had a lot of anger inside, being that I was a very ambitious person, a leader, strong-minded, kind of had this rebel energy inside of me. I kind of started going down the wrong path, without having, the discipline, without having consistency, a routine at home of two parents in the home, or even one parent really being focused on me. That wasn't the case. So I kind of was left to raise myself. And I wrote about this in my first book, Reach, Finding Strength, Spirit, and Personal Power. All of these things that I went through that led me to become the person that I am. And I got in a lot of trouble. Like, I ended up in juvenile hall at one point as a teenager. That's jail for all of you that don't know, for teens. And that's when that's what happened. And I wrote about it. That's what happened that really turned my, focus on in the right direction. And I really got myself together. And then I ended up getting into boxing, and I was able to let out some of these feelings that were trapped inside. A lot of times we don't talk about things, we hide things, we're ashamed. We let our past or our situation define us. I got that all out of me at an early age because I wrote a book when I was around 22, and it was a tell-all kind of situation because I felt it would help others. And then physically being able to go in the ring and let a lot of that energy out. Now, I'm not saying, for those that don't understand boxing in the first place, you're not saying, oh, I'm just going to go beat somebody up. It is a sport, the other person has consented to be in the ring, but there are times when you're facing someone who's trying to take your head off. You have to be able to go to that deep place to win the fight, right? And that's why I was able to do that, because I had it in me.
Beautiful. And I love too that anger led you, and your experiences led you to your mission with your Laila Ali lifestyle. It's all about encouraging others to be the greatest version of themselves through their health, mindset, and purpose in life, which I think is amazing. I love anyone, especially, and that's who I bring on my guests, who take what sadness or anger or less than perfect past, not drag it into the present, but actually do something with that to help other people. So once again, I'm going to give you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award for that. Our mutual love, Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, was on last week, and I gave him that award. He was like on his butt laughing, because that's his, those are his words, being a beneficial presence on the planet.
That is funny.
And I also love, just an aside, one of the things that I love about having famous people as friends is I was in the Philippines. I was speaking at a conference, and my opening speaker was Manny Pacquiao.
Oh,
And
wow.
I had not been introduced to him formally yet in the green room. So when he was walking by me, I said, Laila Ali says hello. And he
That got
stopped
his
and he
attention.
turned around. He turned around and he walked back to me. And then I texted you with that and you said, say hi. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I love him. He's such a great guy.
He is definitely. All right. So you now have this whole line of things that you want people to be the best version of themselves. Um, why do you think people aren't the best versions of themselves, even before the pandemic? And then certainly now after. You sort of gave me a clue in our first interview that people don't advocate for themselves. They don't speak up for themselves. They put other people in front of them. They don't say who they are. So expand on that for me, and that'll give me sort of the foundation for your line.
There's so much I could say about that. And a lot of times it's ourselves, we're holding ourselves back from being the greatest version of ourselves. A lot of times we simply are concerned about others and what they think. And we're not allowing ourselves to be our true selves, to say how we really feel, to stand up for ourselves, or we're trying to be like others, or we're measuring ourselves against others, or these standards that really don't really matter. And that's just in general as people, but also when it comes to our health, we're bombarded with all of this crap on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to use your kind of words while I'm on your show. Look at this is Buddy. This is my baby. He's like, give me attention. We're bombarded with all of this junk food, plastic bottled water, toxins in the air, toxins on the products that we put in our skin. Our skin is our largest organ, so it's always absorbing everything that we put on it. So when it's in the water you drink, the food that you eat, the air that you breathe, the music that we listen to, the frequency, the energy levels, it's just like we're bombarded all the time. That's one of the reasons, like I said, health and eating and cleansing is so important, because we're constantly taking in toxins. So you need to be constantly trying to find some sort of way to get them out of your system to prevent disease. But yeah, there's just so many things, and it can be overwhelming when we just focus on all of that. But there are also so many wonderful, beautiful things about ourselves, right? And those are the things that we want to focus on, and we want to let our light shine.
Great. I love too the balance between it's not, I tend to always focus on my thinking, my emotions, my spiritual, my mental health. And then I have let my body go. And I shared with you before the thing that, I've gained a lot of weight. And so this past Valentine's, I'm like, I have to balance myself out with also looking at my physical. So I love the way that you have all of those in the ducks in a row to help us be healthy. And the food is one of those weird things. I love the way you cook and the way you show how easy it can be. I know that the pandemic, the hashtag, COVID silver lining is a lot of us have rediscovered that you can make more than just reservations. I, sorry for the small restaurants who had to close, but as far as at the home, what is one absolute thing that is healthiest for your kids and the way they eat versus, what the easy way is?
Well, it's all about balance, right? Because I want my kids to not feel deprived. I don't want them to feel like they can't wait to get away from me so they can have something they're not supposed to have. I'm not an extremist. There's levels to this, right? There's levels to this. There's people that are like, I'm only plant-based and I eat sprouts and that's it, and I'm like, okay. So to me, it's about reducing your exposure to the bad stuff. All that stuff I mentioned, you're not going to get away from all of it unless you leave planet Earth, okay? It's just not going to happen. So you want to reduce your exposure. So for me, a lot of times kids like mac and cheese and chicken tenders and French fries. So I try to create healthier options for them, and I allow them to have the things that they want at least once or twice a week. And you know, if they want pizza, I'll order pizza. If they want ice cream, I'll get ice cream. But when I get ice cream, I go get organic, non-GMO ice cream. You know, I try to, when I can, I get the best options. And then it's really what we do most of the time. I do cook dinner. I don't make these elaborate meals every night because that's just hard for me to keep up. And I just try not to really make food that much of a focus. It's like I just want to eat, I want to get my nutrients, and I want to move on. I don't want it to have to be amazing all of the time where I'm just thinking about it all day, right? So I'm like, okay, we need a protein, you know, maybe I'll put some sort of a carb on the plate and mainly vegetables, make sure they're drinking water, make sure they're using their multivitamins, they're getting rest, they're feeling a lot of love in their household, of support and unconditional love is a lot, you know, is the main thing. And, you know, you're really ahead of the game when you're preparing meals at home, just to begin with. I don't care if you're not eating organic. It's just that when you go to restaurants, they want to make the food taste good fast. So they're going to put all the butter in it, all the sodium in it. They're going to use the, you know, lowest quality ingredients a lot of the time, unless you go to a restaurant that specifically says that they're farm raised and that they're, you know, they call out that they're trying to, you know, raise the bar. For the most part, you're eating the lowest quality of everything. So, you know, you're getting in way more calories, fat, sodium, sugar, all this crap. And you're like, how did I just eat a salad that had 2,000 calories in it? You know, that's what
Right.
I'm supposed to have for the day. And I just had it in a salad. So, and then you wonder why you gain weight. So you can eat out, you can order out, but you have to really be aware of how to order, what to order, and just, you know, portion control is really the main thing, especially depending on your activity level. So there's so much to it.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
try to have Laila Ali Lifestyle as a way for people to start on that journey without feeling overwhelmed. You know, I actually have a Replenish You series that I created. It's an email series that just, if you're just inspired to be better in any of these areas that we're talking about today, through your health, through your mindset, finding your purpose in life, you can sign up on LailaAli.com to my Replenish You series. It's free. And oh, there it is. And you can just sign up and you'll get the email series. And there's a lot of great information directly from me, just to get you started, just to keep you in that mindset, especially with the new year coming up. You can start any day. You can start right now today, as soon as you make your mind up. But the new year is always such a nice, fresh start. And one thing I would say is try not to overdo it. You know, a lot of times we go in and we try to do too much and then we can't keep up with it all. And then we let ourselves down. And then you subconsciously begin to feel like, I'm not going to do it again. You know, you're going to let
Exactly.
yourself down again. And you start to have this negative self-talk where you don't even think you're going to do it because you've never been able to before. So what you need to
Right.
do is go into it differently and plan to do one or two things that you can keep up. You know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
like, I'm going to do this whole list.
Yeah. That all or nothing kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't do it all, I'm not going to do anything at all. That's
That's not
totally
gonna work.
that, you know, and you have a rewards program. You have more here than I thought you did.
Oh yeah.
You also,
I got a lot going on.
you do have a lot going on. That is definitely what we talked about last time. So, tips for great parenting, for balanced parenting. What do you say to your kids when they see all this crap on the news, on social media, fighting, you know, people doing horrible things? How do you keep your kids balanced, you know, with the day
It's
to day?
tough.
You talked to, yeah.
It's tough. I mean, I am a hover parent, so my kids are not on Instagram, Facebook. They're not on social media. They have access to YouTube and they have friends, and you know, they go to school, so that's how they hear a lot of what's going on. Even if, you know, I don't put on the news, I don't even watch the news, but they don't hear that in the background. I don't even like that energy in my house. But they were homeschooling before COVID. We started homeschooling and then we homeschooled through COVID. Then we left California, moved to Georgia where I am now, and we were homeschooling. And so it was tough for me to send them back to school because I've been able to shape their minds and kind of monitor what they had access to. So even with COVID, they weren't living scared. I didn't want my kids scared to go outside and breathe fresh air. You know, I want them to be able to trust the immune system that God put in our bodies, right? and not feel fear every time there's news of something else happening. It's like there's a million viruses in our body and in the environment. There always have been and there always will be. You know what I mean? So they
Right.
were aware, but they weren't afraid. That was one thing. So sending them back to school was tough because I was like, okay, now they have to go. You know how it is. We learned this at Agape with Rev. You know, it's like everybody
Right.
else's experience and thoughts and things. You're right. They had to be dumped on them, but they actually did really well. And I've told them about, they've taught them about different people's thoughts and beliefs and mindsets. And, you know, you might see this, and this is how this person lives their life. And it may not be something we agree with or even understand, but we love everyone. And when we say in general, right? And we don't judge people and everyone can do them. And that's just their mindset. So, you know, because there's going to be things that are going to happen, you know, then, and I always want to keep them feeling like they can come and talk to me and they can ask questions no matter what it is. And if anyone ever makes them feel uncomfortable or anything like that, or challenges their thoughts or beliefs, come talk it out with me. So that is the first thing, having that open line of communication and asking questions. Because I said to my daughter the other day, I said, how's school? You know, because it's a new school, new
Right.
public school, first time I'm going to public school. And maybe like a month in, I'm like, so how's school? How are things going? And she was just saying, oh, everything's fine. And then I told her that this woman had reached out to me to give her daughter, she wanted me to talk to her daughter because she said her daughter was having some trouble at school. And, you know, these kids were going around class with a picture of a monkey, and she's a Black girl and she goes to predominantly
Mm.
Caucasian school, and they were like, oh, this looks like her, and she felt bad. And so I mentioned it to my daughter and she said, oh yeah, they call Black people monkeys in my school too. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, but I didn't, you know, I calmly,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I'm like,
Right.
did someone say this to you? She's like, no. I said, did you hear someone say it? Like, I'm trying, in what context, you know, I'm trying to get, but I say all that to say, if I hadn't asked her or brought up this story, we would have never had this conversation. So it's really
Right.
important for parents to talk to your kids, you know, not in a stressful way, like you're badgering them. Make it normal. Just, how was school today? You know, and how are you,
Right.
how are they feeling? Because a lot of people are having mental issues right now, right? With mental health, mental wellness, especially with COVID, you know, with the seclusion and the fear. Fear is the most
I,
toxic thing that we can have in our life, which is
yeah.
why I didn't want my kids to be afraid, right?
Right.
Because fear is not
Right.
anything. I want to always feel empowered. I want to feel like I can do something about something. I don't ever want to be
Yeah.
told there's nothing I can do, you know?
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, so that's it. Just unconditional love, having conversations, making them feel like you're not, you know, you can't get mad. You can't freak out. Like when they tell you something and they're not going to ever tell you anything again. You see what I'm saying? So you got,
Totally.
and just providing, yes, providing, I think, the discipline of having a routine. I think it's really important for kids to know what to expect when they're home. It just gives them calm. They may act like they don't like it, they're actually needing that. You know, kids need to be told what time to go to bed and what time to wake up and have breakfast in the morning. And that's going to really transfer over to, when I said have breakfast in the morning, I mean just as part of a routine. You know, the
Hmm.
things that they do, it's going to transfer to how they get along as adults in life, you know, and
Hmm.
having that balance that they need.
Absolutely. How does you growing up with a famous dad translate to your kids growing up with a famous mom and dad? Those of you don't already know, you have to go to the first interview to hear how she met Curtis Conway and all of that, which is just super cute. I went back and I listened. That is such an adorable story. So, but you know, how do they deal with that?
Well, I'm nowhere near as famous as my father, so they don't have the same experience I had. You know, my dad is a global icon, and everywhere we went, there's crowds of people around, and he loved it. So he was like, "Hey, come on! I want to stand here for 2 hours and sign autographs when I'm out to eat with my family." For, you know, we're like the kids, like, "Oh God." So, but you know, I don't have that. You know, the most a couple people might come up with to us, and you know, I told them from when they were really young. I said, you know how mommy, because when I was doing a lot of television hosting, I said, mommy's on TV. You know, that's my job, but people recognize me and they're excited to see me. I said, you know how you watch your shows and if you see a character, you'd be like, oh, that's so and so. So that's all that is, it's no big deal. So I kind of minimize it. So they're just kind of like, oh, okay. People come over, they say, can I eat a pizza? They're just like, all right, whatever. But, I diffuse it by, it's not a big deal. I'm a very regular person. I go to the grocery store, but I do everything by myself. The grocery store, I'm going to pick up my mail. I'm doing all these things. And a lot of times people are just like, you're here, you're doing this. I'm like, yeah, like I gotta live my life too. I gotta eat too, but they just assume, I guess, that someone else will be doing it for me. Whereas I like to be in control. I've said this many times before. I don't want to be sitting around waiting. Yeah. I don't want to be waiting for someone to bring me my groceries or waiting for someone to do X, Y, and Z. And if that person doesn't show up, then what? You know what I mean? So, and a lot of times people feel more important when they have someone doing things for them, and some people really don't have time to do it. And they are so famous that, like Beyonce's not going to the grocery store. She's not going to be able to get her groceries. You see what I'm saying? So, but you got some people who totally can go get it themselves, but they're still having other people.
Right. I actually dated a guy who had if he wasn't recognized enough in the restaurant, he'd have himself paged. I'm not going to name names. Yeah, that's right. That's what I love about you. You're so real, and I think that's the way that we're kind of unbalanced when it comes to celebrities, is that we've put them on this unrealistic, and it has a real downside of how people see you and treat you. But let's go. I know you're gonna have to go soon, but I did want to ask successful tips.
I don't have a hard out, so you're
okay.
Good.
Okay, so I can see how interesting I am to keep you. How long?
I don't
know. I love a challenge. So back to Curtis. So what would you say are the top 3 things that make a successful marriage, partnership? Obviously, you are both incredibly interesting people. You're not your average people, and you have 2, NFL star, world champion boxer with 7 forking belts. I love that picture that you put up there. And some people still like Laila Ali. Oh, that's nice. And it's like, you don't know in her own right what she's done for the world of women's boxing. And then I show them a clip and I show them the belts and their eyes go really wide. So that's pretty funny. I love it. Anyways, Curtis, what makes a relationship continue to grow and expand, but not apart, but together?
Yeah, it's a challenge. Relationships are work. It's never just a smooth sailing like people think it might be. We're going on 17 years together. This is my 2nd marriage, so I know how a marriage doesn't do well, and I know how a marriage does well, but neither of them were easy, right? The current one isn't easy. So I think that number one, you got to be with the right person. Like my first marriage was not with the right person. You get into the marriage for the wrong reason. I didn't think I was really ready to get married. He was ready to get married. It was like, oh, well, I guess, I kind of was pressured into it. That's not the right reason. And that's just my situation. But, usually there's red flags and it's not 100% it doesn't 100% feel right, as with anything. It's not, and we just don't listen. So that was just doomed from the beginning, right? But I still don't regret it, because everything happens for a reason. I learned a lot from that. The second marriage, obviously I'm more mature. I know what I want. I wasn't going to make the same mistake again. Going to make some mistakes, but not the same mistake. And being good friends, okay, actually having respect for one another. You have to have that same level of respect for one another, because when there are disagreements, when you don't feel above or better than, or you have disrespect for someone, you're going to care about how they feel. And if you hurt someone's feelings, or if they don't feel right about something, or there's a disagreement, you're going to want to make it work. You're going to want to figure out a solution that's going to work for both of you. Because when you love someone, you respect someone, and you care about their feelings, you're not going to say, well, F you, I don't care how you feel. This is what works for me. Because your other half has to happy for you to be happy. It's the same way as with my children. Like I said, my family, they're happy, I'm happy. And that's when you really have true love, when you know you love your husband like you love your children. And until you have children, you won't know. But that's what
Mhm.
true love feels like. And you know,
Mhm.
Dr. Marissa, because you have, you have a child, right? You have a daughter. Don't you have a daughter?
Two
Two,
daughters,
two
two
daughters, two
daughters.
daughters, right?
Yeah,
Two
25
daughters.
and
That's what
23.
that's what I thought too. I knew we had at least
Yeah,
one. But
yeah.
when you love someone the way you love your children, that's the kind of love.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So when
Yeah.
you feel that way, it's not an option anymore for it not to work, because you want to
Mhm.
be with that person in this life and the next life. Okay.
Mm.
So that's a certain level of love. That's one thing. Respect, and listening to one another. Um,
What? Sorry.
one more thing, and then the next thing is, and I'll be shorter with these, but the next
No,
thing
no, 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 no.
is
I was just trying to be stupid,
yeah,
funny with the listener. Anyway, go ahead.
the next thing,
You bring
which
out
is
the
a
goof in
challenge.
me. You know that.
You're funny. Oh, you gonna
No,
blame me?
I
You
love.
gonna blame me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I love laughter's my favorite sound, and I love making you laugh. Remember that time when you were speaking at the conference and you were actually on the camera, and I was texting you like stupid stuff, and
Oh
you would
God.
laugh. I got her in so much trouble. It was great.
Oh my God. So I was gonna say that, so the second one, and I'm just doing these off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
The second one is, and it's challenging for me, is to definitely, and as you get deeper into a relationship, is to really make time for one another. So for me, I'm so busy. I have so much on my plate. My challenge in life is trying to get it all done, because I'm very ambitious. I'm a little OCD. I want to cook dinner for the kids and be here for the kids, and I want to handle my business, and I want to be able to get my fitness in, and I want to spend time with my husband. But a lot of times I do all these things, and at the end of the evening, he's kind of like, damn, you were busy all day. What about me? You know what I mean?
Mm,
And it's kind of like, okay, well, if I'm someone who has a busy schedule, then I have to put it on my schedule. I have to do what works for me, but in a way that works for me. But I have to make sure that that happens, because eventually the kids are going to grow up and they're going to move out the house, and it's going to be just us. So we have to continue nurturing our relationship. So if he likes to cuddle and watch a movie together, and I'm kind of like, oh, I don't really feel like cuddling, too bad. You need to do that for him. And the things that I like him to do, because I'm like, I get excited when I see him doing work around the house and doing things around the house, whereas, he may be a little bit of a procrastinator. And I'm like, I told you that those light bulbs need to be fixed, and I told you that that knob was loose, and I will get animosity and get irritated with you if you don't take care of those things, right?
mm.
So he has to do those things for me, because that turns me on. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we have to always be thinking about the other. And that leads into the next one. I think that one thing, especially as women, we need to understand that you have to remember what attracted to you each other in the first place. Don't
Mm.
let yourself go. Don't get comfortable and just let yourself go, because men are very visual. Okay. And I'm not saying that they have some things they need to watch too. I'm specifically talking to us right now, though. Okay. And this is just a fact. Men are very visual. And, people, the first thing we see is with our eyes. Okay. And we have an attraction to someone. And you don't want to just be like, oh, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to let myself go. Because I notice a lot of my friends, they're in a relationship, and then it doesn't work out. They let it go, and they're like back on the market, so to speak. And they're like, oh, let me go to the gym. And I'm like, that's the first thing we do, is we want to better ourselves, because we understand. But it's like, but you didn't do that for your husband or for your
Mhm.
boyfriend. It's like,
Mhm.
so now you want to try to be attractive. And it's like, it's attractive to take care of yourself. It's attractive to care enough about yourself to make the sacrifice that you need to make. So if you were to doing that when you met someone, don't change it, in the end, or in the middle. That's
Yeah.
just one thing that I think is, and I want you to do it for yourself, because when you feel good, and you look good, you're just gonna be 100% have a different vibe, you know.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that come to mind. And, but definitely we got to make time, because one thing I do is I will start slipping in that area. I'll just be too tired. My husband's like,
Mhm.
what about me?
Well, I can see him saying that too. And I think that's wonderful that you want to do something for someone, not for any other reason than to continue to have that gel and glue with someone. And I say it all the time. That's why my show is called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, is the importance of that romantic whatever. And I know that I'm getting myself in a place physically for that, but also mentally. The last guy I dated said, I don't mind being priority number 2 or 3, but number 10, come on. And that's real. That's a real, I have to really look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And it goes two ways. It goes two ways. We don't want to be with someone that makes us priority number 10 either, right?
true. Absolutely. So what do you think of all this stuff that's going on in the world right now? Like, I know that, it's better not to think about it, but for people who talk to you about it or want your opinion on things, politically, or I'm sure you've been asked to run for politics and things like that, what would be the best response for yourself and for other people as we make it through this weird time?
I don't know. There's like, what do you mean? Are you saying
Okay.
when someone asks me about something I don't want to talk about, how do I
Yeah.
get out of talking about it?
Yeah. Like
Well,
politics right now.
I'm very straightforward.
No,
And
really?
I have no problem saying how I feel. And you know what? The thing is that I never want to feel burdened or pressured to have to give a response to something, period, in general. And there's a lot of things that in the past I used to talk about that I'm not talking about now, because I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm still trying to figure out where I stand. And what I say does have influence. So I have to be careful about that, because when I say something and put it out there, it's out there. You know what I mean? And I
Yes.
have to, I will want to stand by it. And sometimes people misconstrue your words or take things out of context. So, you know, I, I definitely have an opinion about things, and I'll talk about a lot of things amongst my friends, what's really, really on my mind, but there's a time and a place for everything. So for me, it's just not something I want to discuss right now. I remember I had someone recently, I did a speaking engagement, and someone asked me about politics in Georgia, and he mentioned one of the politicians, and she's a black woman, and he was just assumed I would be behind her just because she's a black woman, and I
Mm.
was kind of like, actually, she said some things that I didn't agree with, and it had me, really second guessing some things. I don't really know how I feel about that. That's just not something I really want to get involved with right now. So,
Mhm.
it's just there's definitely a way to. I'm really not comfortable talking about these things. I don't really know how I feel. I'm still trying to figure out where I stand on these
Mhm.
things, and I'm
Mhm.
not ready to have a conversation about it. So to answer your question, a good out, because some people are not as forward as me. They don't feel as comfortable shutting people down. But what you can do is just say, I'm not really sure where I stand on things, and I'm trying to figure it out within myself. So it's not really a conversation that I want to have right now. But
Mhm.
and you respect everyone's opinion, but you're really still in the process of forming your own, and you
Yeah.
kind of just lay them off you that way. And there's nothing people can do but respect that, you know.
Mhm.
So we're in a place in this world where everybody is pressured to take a side, take a stand. If you don't post this on social media, it means you don't care. If you don't
Right.
post Black Lives Matter, it means that they don't matter to you. That's not true. You don't have to jump
Mhm.
on every bandwagon. You don't have to jump on every hashtag. A lot of times you don't even really know the real intention behind a lot of these organizations. And then you've signed up to represent, and you don't even really know what their real intention is. So the best thing to do when you don't know and you're not going to actually do your homework and do some research instead of following the crowd is to opt out. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? There's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
not saying anything. Don't feel pressure. The strongest thing we can do to change our world, okay, is to start in the home, especially if you have children, teaching them about kindness, teaching them about understanding, about compassion, understanding that everyone doesn't think the same. Everyone isn't the same religion. Everyone does have different backgrounds. We're not all the same, and it's okay.
Mhm.
I do
Mhm.
see color. I see
Mhm.
color, and it's okay
Mhm.
because we're all from different parts of the world and we have different cultures, and we don't want to all be the same. That's what makes our world great. So we don't need to pretend that we're the same, but we need to respect one another, right? We need to never feel like we're better than one another. So those are the things that we want to teach our children, starting in the home. If every individual that walked outside for the day had more compassion, kindness, and understanding, then we wouldn't have the problems that we have today. And we don't have to feel like I'm on this side and you're on that side. It doesn't have to be that way.
So that sort of answers the question. What would you say to your daughter after after she says, yeah, they call Black people monkeys, or they make that reference? What is the direct response, which is part of the teaching around what do you do when there's blatant racism in the world and in the news and on the planet right now? You went from California, which is one of the most supposedly valuing of diversity states, to one that is not necessarily there. So, Laila Ali, what do you say to kids, and especially your daughter? That breaks my heart that she would say to you, oh yeah, that's what they say at school, and you made this decision to put them in public school
Right,
after
right.
homeschooling. So what do you say to her?
Well, the first thing I did was ask her how it made her feel and what did she think, because I wanted to see where her mental was, and ask, why do you think that they would say that, right? And because her mindset was, well, maybe because monkeys are brown and we're brown, you know what I mean? And so I want to hear her thoughts, her process.
Great.
And I kind of talked her through that. And I said, sometimes we do. I said, we do have some African Americans, not us, because we are mixed and we got a lot of French and Indian. I said, some African Americans do have wide noses, and we do, sometimes you could say, oh, that kind of resembles a monkey. Or there's certain people I'm like, oh, that person reminds me of a cat, so I kind of do that. So, and then just where we got to that. So I said, so if somebody's at home and they heard their parents say something, they were taught something, and someone didn't correct it and they bring it to school, is that okay? No. So do you feel like you look like a monkey? No. So we work through that. Okay, so like I've told you before, sometimes people say and do stupid things, right? But you don't need it to make you feel bad. But I need her to, this is the world we live in, and it's going to come up again. What you don't want is, you don't want them to walk away feeling less than, because some other person decided to do something, ignorant, that didn't make any sense, right? Or they didn't get corrected at home. So, but my kids already know, that if someone does something or physically does something to you, at school, their first thing is definitely, no, you're going to fight back. You may get in trouble at school, but you're not going to get in trouble at home, because they're going to learn the first time to never, ever put their hands on you again. I tell my kids, you never touch anybody, you never start anything. But if someone violates your body and your space, you defend yourself. Okay. So that's the mindset that my children have. And they will never, ever say anything. They're taught to never, ever say anything to hurt anyone's feelings or make them feel bad with the intention of feeling bad. You know what I'm saying? So you just kind of have to work through those things, because it's not going to be the first time they're not going to deal with that,
Right.
So, and
right.
there was racism in California too. It's just that,
True.
it comes in different ways. Sometimes it's straight in your face, and sometimes it's a little,
Right.
yeah, passive
Obtuse.
aggressive.
Obtuse.
Yeah. So,
Side wham. Side
yeah,
wham.
and I always balance it out. I tell them, I'm like, I don't like, because racism in general, teaching your kids about that was a challenge in the first place, about slavery and all these things. You don't want to teach a 5 or 6 or 7 or 8-year-old about things that's going to make that they don't really understand, and that's going to give them the mindset from the beginning that they're inferior. Well, if this happened to us, we must be inferior. People don't realize that. That's what that does.
Right.
And it makes other people feel inferior. So I always balance it out. And I say, look, we're not going to go around calling people who are like white people, we're not going to tell them, you look pasty or you look this. We're not going to call them many names, right? No, we're not, because we're all different. So I tell them there's names we can call them too. There's names you
Right.
can call those kids too. It's not like we're just always the ones being put down, because it goes two
Right.
ways.
Yeah.
You know, there's names that Black people call white people too. So
Right.
they know,
And Chinese people call, yeah,
all that.
all.
It's
Yeah.
all that. So don't ever
Yeah.
just think it's just the Black people being put down, because then that makes it feel, well, why is it
Right.
always us? You know, so no, it's everybody. Everybody, you know,
Right.
gets talked about. Yeah. Buddy,
Yeah.
you are
So you're
just so needy. You are just
he's
so
so,
needy.
I remember when he
Look,
was a puppy. He's
look,
so
he is just, you're
cute.
just so needy. And then
You're
I got this one too.
so,
Look,
oh my gosh.
this is
Is that the
this is
new
the
one?
little mama.
The
Malibu.
Frenchie. Hi,
This is little
Malibu.
Malibu.
Hi,
Say hi.
Malibu.
Say hi.
You know, I have a grand
Look.
dogson, Pablo.
Oh,
Same
you do?
color. Yeah. Hi. So adorable.
Yeah.
That's
My
unconditional dog.
little mama right here.
So cute. So cute. All right. Now let's go back. Go ahead. All the way around. I was going to pull up your website again. Thank you for all those tips.
Talk about,
yeah.
we definitely
The
want to
cleanse.
talk about, the cleanse,
back up
which
here.
So that's the replenish you. So if you go to shop, go to shop, and then go to YouPlenish. Oh, okay. Scroll down.
Yeah.
You're on the shop now. So you just scroll down
to skincare, YouPlenish.
So my nutrition line is called YouPlenish, and it is I have a company that makes it that's pharmaceutical grade, high quality, third party tested. I'm actually getting ready to rebrand in just my packaging in 2023, and we are overstocked right now on one of my most popular products, which is my 14-day cleanse. And this cleanse is normally $189, but right now it's on special for $99, simply because I'm trying to get them out the door, because this packaging is going away and these are expiring at the end of December. So the cleanse is popular because you know, it's a great way. Of course, you're going to lose some weight. You know, people usually lose 5 to 12 pounds when they do the cleanse, but it's really about detoxing your liver, your colon, and it comes with drink packets. So you have 2 drink packets a day, which are meal replacements, and you have 2 capsule packs a day. So a lot of times with cleansing, we'll stir up all these toxins in our body, but they don't actually come out, and they actually stay there and cause more harm than good. So this is a 2-part detox, where it actually extracts and pulls out all the toxins that can be from pharmaceutical drugs. It could be from the foods that you're eating, like we mentioned, or, you know, the products that we put on our skin, whatever it may be. Someone that just had chemo, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to cleanse out, this is a very strong but also gentle cleanse. So you do the 2 drinks a day, you have a meal, and you do snacks. It's not a cleanse where you don't eat. So that's the thing. So yeah, you definitely eat, but it comes with this booklet that also tells you how to eat, what to eat. You're just eating clean. You're eating clean, whole foods. You're trying to get away from the packaged processed foods. So all of that comes in the box. It's on a special right now. You don't even need a code. It's just $99. And I'm practically giving it away because, like I said, if I don't give it away, I'm going to end up throwing it away because
we don't
I'm
want
starting. That. No, I'm starting with a new packaging. So the website's going to be updated and everything. I'm like, what am I going to do with these boxes? So I'm pretty much just kind of giving everyone the opportunity. It's a great time of year to do a cleanse. Absolutely. So I urge you to check it out. Now, my spice blends are my baby, and we're going to give one away for your audience. I don't know how you're going to go about doing that, but I'm going to send you my 3-pack, and my spice blends are organic, non-GMO, and they are created by me. And the whole idea is to make cooking flavorful and easy. So these are my original 3. You've got the soulful seasoning salt, which is more than just seasoning salt. It's got amazing flavors in it. Then you have your salt-free herb blend, and then you have your spicy pepper blend. So these pretty much replace your salt and your pepper. And then you have an herb blend that's salt-free, so you can use as much as you want. If you only have these 3 seasonings, you'd be good. You'd be really good. But I also have 3 more on the website that are amazing. But these are the 3 original ones that I came out with, and I'll continue adding more. So I'm going to give one of your listeners a box. So you let me know. You'll let me know who won.
Yes, I will.
Who want me to
Yes,
send that
I
to.
will.
But of course, anyone can go to the website and purchase. And if you just sign up to my email list, you automatically get a discount code for 10% off. So I'm
Yippee.
super excited for what 2023 has to bring. But yeah, you've already talked about my Replenish You series, which is also on my website that anyone can sign up to. It's free, and it'll just give you a lot of, we talked about a lot, but really it's written by me, and it's directly from me, and it'll give you a lot of information to help you start on your journey. I had to figure out how to carve out my own lane in the shadow of the greatest of all time. And I learned how to eat to become a champion and take care of my body. I learned the mindset that it takes to be successful in the many areas that I've been successful in. And I've had to figure out my own purpose in life. My father definitely left his mark on the world, but I'm not burdened with having to have the same
Live up
interests or
to it. Yeah.
goals or passions that
Mhm.
he did. There's things that
Mhm.
that are important to me. I want to make a change too, and mine is about health and wellness, because guess what? Diabetes, heart disease, obesity, those are the things that are the leading killers. These are things that are from our lifestyle choices. We can sit up and you talk
Choices.
about politics and what's going on in the world. We can talk about all these other things that are killing us. Okay. But let's talk about what we're doing to ourselves. Right. And I
Yeah.
understand why people are overwhelmed, why people are overeating, why people are eating the wrong things, why people are not getting enough rest, why people are having mental health issues. I understand. But, we have to at least look at it, and we have to set our goal to improve ourselves in order to make a change. You got to start somewhere. So that's what Laila Ali Lifestyle is
Yeah.
all about.
Yeah, and it's so wise because we're so distracted, like that squirrel thing, we have an attention span less than a goldfish. And it's so
Right.
silly because if you want to really make changes, I love when you said the number one thing to do is just bring it home. Literally, bring it home, to your kids, to your relationships at home, your relationship with the food in your body, your relationship with your
All that.
mind, and all that is so she knows she's preaching to the choir. And I love the fact that you are who you are, exactly as you are. And I also love the way that you're comfortable knowing that you're not perfect. Both of us are recovering control freaks, and we have a very strong sense of self. And at the same time, I know I'm imperfectly perfect,
Oh,
and I'm okay
absolutely.
with that. And I
Mhm.
can cut myself some slack and laugh at myself. But I just love the way that you show up in the world, and I love the way that you would. Oh, here we go. We got the winner. Handpan Artist, the
Yeah.
portal. I would love to receive the giveaway. I support both you and Layla. This interview was amazing. So I can't think of
Oh,
a
that's so
better
sweet.
person to do that. Go ahead and go to drmarissa.life handpan and just put in your email and say knockout winner. Then I'll know you're the one who won the spice blend. So thank you for tuning in. I successfully kept you for the entire hour. So I'm going to give myself a little.
Yeah, we need a prize. You need a prize. You need a
I
prize
need
for
a
that.
prize. It's not every day you can get Layla to stay and sit and chat. And I'm so grateful for your time, your
I love it.
wisdom, your love, your friendship. I just I'm I don't want to cry, although I
No,
love
don't
when
cry.
people
Don't
cry.
cry.
I love when people
Don't cry.
cry. Tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. But I wish for you only the best of the best. And I would ask you what's next if you want to
Well,
answer
I will
that.
say, no, well, that's a big question people ask all the time. And I'm
Yeah.
really I'm trying to refine what I'm already doing, and declutter. It's not about more, 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 more. It's about how can I refine and be more efficient, and take even more time with my family. So that's what I'm doing, and it really comes down to me just getting my ducks in a row, and not allowing my ambition to drive me to create more work for myself. So that's
Mm.
my personal thing I'm working on. what's next today is I already have my sweatpants on to go work out. See, I had to just throw this. I threw this sweater on. Threw some
Nice.
curls. Look, the back is still straight. I just had to throw some curls in the front. I put a little bit of makeup on, and I put the sweater on just to look like I was dressed. But I actually am gonna go downstairs and do my Peloton. I'm gonna have to get 45 minutes in. So if you're a Peloton rider, I am Laila Ali, and I will challenge you on the leaderboard. Okay, no, I'm joking.
No, she's not. No, she's not.
Serious,
Same way as me on Candy Crush. I'm on level 9,000, and yeah. So, what's my last question I asked you last time? What is the one thing that you are most grateful for? To who or what are you most grateful for? Because we didn't do the gratitude sandwich at the beginning. So
one thing.
Yeah.
One thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Who?
Who? To who or what?
I truly am most grateful for, in general, just my health. Like I said, it's the first thing I started with, the health of my family. Because when we get sick and we get people like in a situation where they might die, nothing else matters, right? Nothing else matters that was important to you when you're sick. Or, you're just like, and you're thinking you might die. You're like, oh my God, nothing else matters. So I'm happy to have my health, and I'm happy to have a mind where I can think freely on my own, and I can use critical thinking because, a lot of times I notice now in our world, things are not always what they seem. And if you cannot filter through and you cannot think critically and think, what is the real intention here? What's really going on here? And not be able to think for yourself, you will get swallowed up and you will be following right along with everybody else. So I am so happy to have my mind to be free, to have to be able to think critically. And a lot of that has to do with just, I grew up at Agape with Reverend Michael, and having that, you got to have that God in you. You got to have that relationship with God in you, and that confidence in you, and that connection to the Creator to really feel like, you know what?
I matter.
I'm going with my gut. I matter, and I'm going with how I feel. I don't care how anybody else feels. So that's a really something I'm grateful for. Yeah, but health and mindset, all of that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You heard it here live. It is LailaAli.com. Go there and take care of your body with her 14-day cleanse, only $99. Sign up at her email list. Go get her challenges. Thank you so much. You know this drill. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world. Peace through, inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live with the amazing Laila Ali. We'll see you tomorrow with Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works. Now go and have the best day ever.